it's not just water. Hi guys, I am Nu-Trix, the Synth guy. Today it's a different type of video. I'm going to talk about something that people are writing to me about. And the last month I got a lot of question on how to pick the right synth. Some people were looking at the specifics, saying I want the best analog synth, or I want the best analog synth under $1,000, or very specific things. And others would just go, I want to create music with synthesizers. I've been using software. How do I go about choosing the one I want? And they basically had a list of different ones, but it was all over the place sometimes. Sometimes it was really clearly defined, the style I wanted to have. And other times it was kind of anything goes. It's very hard for anybody to just tell to somebody else that's the best, because the best piece of music tool for you, or even in this case, it's not a tool. A synthesizer is an instrument. So the best instrument for you depends on you. It doesn't depend on what I see in electronic synthesizer or whatever it is. I cannot decide for you what's the best for you, and nobody can. If you would come to me in a store and I would be a clerk, specialized in synthesizer, you would say, hey, what's the best synth? Well, I would have to answer you, what do you want to do? What is it you're looking for? What style of music you're looking? What do you already have in your studio that a device could add to that? What do you want to change in what you're doing? Or what do you want to replace? Or what do you want to add to? So these are all questions you need to ask yourself. What I'll do today is I'll go through these questions that I personally ask myself when I look at gear, at musical instrument, and I'm wondering if I want to buy this or not. But I'll look specifically on Notion for synthesizers, okay? Because that's what people were asking. But you could apply that to drum machines if you want, or other things. But these are the questions you should ask yourself. Of course, we don't have unlimited amount of budget. So every time we start to shop for something, there's a goal and there's a budget we have to deal with. So these are part of the question we have. The question is, what's the best way to pick the right synthesizer for you? That's the goal today. I'll put out many questions out there, and you'll have to answer yourself what answer is the right answer for myself, for yourself. Some questions are really fact-based, or they're linked to the spec sheet. If you look at the spec sheet, you'll have the answer right away, and you know this is what I need. Other questions are not related to specs. They're more related to how you envision, how you imagine you playing with that device. How do you want to play or interact with that instrument? And that's not something you see on paper. So that's why every time you think about devices or synthesizers, oh, that's the perfect one for me because I saw it online, I would say, go to the store, test it. If you buy from some company online, at least have some type of 30 days money back guarantee, because you might find that playing with it is not at all inspiring. You got to keep in mind that these devices are fun to have, but they need to be inspiring and fast to use, and they need to go with the workflow you want to have, so it becomes a real tool, a real part of your music making process. What do you expect to get out of it? That's kind of the first question. Do you want a new sound? Do you want a new instrument? Do you want to play more? Do you want something portable? There's the big, wide, global question. What do you expect out of this thing? You want to replace something you don't have anymore? You want to go further? You want to explore something you don't have? Or you're looking at your studio and you say, I'm missing this. Like me, I'm missing a sampler. That's why I'm looking to get this, because this now has sampling capacity. So it's going to fit my bill, and it's portable. That's my style, but that's about the only thing I need right now because I've got everything I want. Yeah, of course, I would like to have bigger and brighter tools, but it wouldn't make me making better music, you know. Making better music will be putting more time into making music. That's it. At one point, I make better music. But the tools I have already filled the bills for what I want. So I can crave other things, but I cannot pay for them for now. So I'm going to work with what I have and make music. That's what I said in my New Year's video. Make music with what you have. Of course, there's a question about the budget. How much you want to pay for this? What's your envelope that you're looking for? The sound is probably one of, well, it's not probably, it is the most important part, because any synthesizer, even if they look good, they're really nice, if the sound does not fit what you want to do, then it's the wrong device. Listen to the sound, go online, watch videos, hear what they sound like. If it sounds the way you want, right away, it's more into what you want. If you listen to something and go, it sounds bizarre, it's not the style I want, fine, super cool, it's not for you. Check it off the list. It's off. You might have a question about the sound technology you're using. Some people will be very picky on the fact that it's real analog. Some will be more interested in having just the result they want. Virtual analog, like stuff like physical modeling, like you have in let's say the TR-8. It's a physical model of an analog beatbox, you know, or real analog like the SE02, or a physical model like this, or sample playback that you have in this. Or do you want sample? Do you want to be able to sample yourself? Do you want hybrid synthesis? Do you want granular synthesis? Do you want FM synthesis? All of these questions are really technical, but they will help you decide the technology you want. If that sounds weird to you, then just listen to the sound. If it sounds like you want, then it's the right device. When you talk about synthesis, you also talk about what else the machine can do internally. So do you have internal effects, reverb, delays, distortion, stuff like that? And if you have any, do they sound good? And can you get rid of them if you don't want them? Like sometimes you've got a delay, it's all good, but when you get into mixing, you want to get rid of it because you want to use a better delay in the computer. So can you turn it off, you know? And if you can't, the one that there is in, does it sound good enough? You know, some really sound good. Some of them are sketchy, to say the least. Other devices also have vocoders. That's cool, but do you need it? If you have one, will you use it? Because if you have a vocoder and you pay for that and you're not using it, put money in something else. Buy something that doesn't have a vocoder. But if you have a vocoder, it's pretty cool. So another option, maybe you have a vocoder. Do you have on the synthesizer the right controls for your need? Like this thing here. Some people will freak out over this, going, okay, these are buttons with no information, and it's not one button per parameter. I don't like this. I'm lost. Some people will freak out. So, okay, I don't want this. And others will say, well, I want this because this is one button, one parameter. It's super clear. Every knob has a value. Every knob has a purpose. And you cannot get lost into this. For some, this is really important. For some people, others, it's not. Are you comfortable with having a menu in a screen and flipping through different choices like I have on this one? There's not a lot of buttons. It's all menu based. Do you like to have this? I don't mind, but some people mind because they want to use it live. And live, you want to be able to actually go quickly to a knob and turn it. So this is not the right option for a live performance, in my personal view. The key size. Are the keys of the keyboard the size you want? Do they feel right to you? Now that's why some people do not like mini keys. And that's why Roland sells these devices without the keys if you want them. And with the keys if you want a portable box. But if you don't have this, it's that box, you hook it up to your preferred keyboard with the keys and the feeling you want from the keyboard, and you use that as a brain only, synthesis brain, and it's fine, it's a module. So if you have keys on the device, are they the right size? Do they have the right response? Are they weighted or not? Do they have velocity? Do they have aftertouch? Do you have a pitch bend? All of that is part of how you're going to interact with the synthesizer. So these are important. The amount of keys also. Some will have like 25 keys, very portable, and other needs 88 keys. So it's all a question of how you want to interact with your synthesizer. Polyphony. How many notes do you expect to play from that device? Analog synth or virtual analog synth, most of them, they are monophonic. Some are a couple of notes, but that's basically, under 6 voices of polyphony, that's what you see. And most of them are monotimbral. They can only play 1 timbre at a time, not more. Multi-timbral synthesizer usually are digital synthesizers, because for analog synth to be multi-timbral, it means it costs a lot of money. So some of them can, but most of them do not. Meaning if they're analog, they're monotimbral. They might be polyphonic, like Prophet 5 was 5 notes polyphony, but it's 1 timbre, 1 sound. So I've got the JP8000 here. JP8000 plays 8 notes of polyphony over 2 different sounds. So it's 2 timbres that can play, and you can spread the polyphony over the 2 timbres. So one can have 4, the one can have 4, or you can have 2 and 6. Depending on what you want. Digital synthesizer will tend to have these options, and analog synthesizer will tend to be monotimbral and from 1 to 6, 5 voice of polyphony. Memories. How many memories do you have? Can you save your sound first? If you can, perfect. If you cannot, is it a problem with you? It sounds stupid. If you're looking at a modular synth, then you can't save. There's no way you can save how the patch cord is connected. It just does not work this way. So you don't have any memory on these devices. Some people find it a good thing, some don't. So is it a problem for you? Example, the Korg Volca Beats. I know it's not a synth, but it's an example. There's only 8 memories in this. So my pattern memories, 8. So I do my 8 sounds, my 8 patterns. When it's done, it's done. And then I need to erase them to play another song. So for me, it's a bummer to only have 8 memories. And on top of that, there's the next question. Can you back up your memories? In this case, in the Volca Beats, you cannot. Unless somebody tells me how to. There's only a MIDI in, no MIDI out, so you cannot output information. And there's nothing else, sync in, sync out. There's nothing for this for backing up your memory. So you just cannot back up this. So unless you record the sound, that's it. And for me, that's a big bummer. I like to be able to back up my stuff. So if I lose anything, I can bring it back in. That's not the case. So of course, these are really affordable. So there's a reason why it's like this, but still, it's something I don't like. I like to have the option of backing up my memory. So if you had just a MIDI out, system exclusive, you just go in and out, back up your memory, it will be done. That's not the case. So, too bad. But that could be a big problem or a big question for you to know if you can back up your memories or not. Some devices, you hook it up to the computer, it appears as a USB disk, you back up the memory, done deal, Others, you go MIDI in and out, system exclusive, record, and you back up the memory, done deal, saved. You've got a backup, If you go on tour, if you do live performances, you want a backup. If you lose everything in the device for any reason, you want to be able to put it back in. In this, there's no way to put it back in. Unless there's a secret method, there's no way to put it back in. So I wouldn't go live with this. Because if I drop it and then memory gets erased for some reason, there's no way I can put that sound into something else and then run it. There's just, I'm done. So I will not bring it, I will record that into live and I will use live. Then you get to the general build of the device itself. The connectivity. How many outputs and inputs do you have? Do you need more? Can you separate the different sounds into different outputs? Do you have MIDI in, MIDI out? Do you have power? separated from the rest? Do you want battery? Do you have audio in? Can it be used as an audio interface so you can record? Do you have audio in? You can then process the signal coming in into the synth, like I have on my Novation Base Station 2. There's an audio external in, and you can process that signal through the synth itself. It depends on what you want to do, but that's a really cool feature. How do you sync that machine to the rest of your machine? Like today you have a lot of these synthesizers or beatbox or whatever you have sequencer in them, you have an arpeggiator in them. You want them to be in sync with the tempo of your other devices. So how do you sync that arpeggiator? Is it MIDI sync? You need MIDI in, maybe MIDI out. Do you have a sync option that is something else, like a click track, a clock, a trigger? So check out how this interact with the others. The most classic general sync you have is the MIDI sync. The other ones are electrical, but they might not be all the same speed. So you might have weird reaction there. Or you might have cool reaction there. So that's a question. How does your device is interacting with the computer? A lot of the boutique synthesizers, they work by themselves as an instrument, and if you connect to the computer, you've got the audio signal going to the computer. So you don't have to convert the signal back into, you don't need an interface. You just don't need another audio interface. You just connect to the computer and you've got the signal straight from the original box into your computer. So there's no other conversion. That's a good thing. You don't lose quality in conversions. Is it possible to interact with an iPad? Would you need that? Do you need that? Do you want your controller to be Bluetooth? I use Bluetooth technology at home. I would never use it live. Live is not reliable. There's too many interference that you have around you. You don't want all these interference, especially live. So I wouldn't use Bluetooth live for now. When you talk about live performance, then there's a question of, can you perform live on that device? Do you need to go in different menus and plug in little buttons to get access to the features you want, or can you just turn a knob and get what you want? So it's very it's really important. The reason I like the TR8 from Roland is really the fact that everything is a performance-based beatbox. The interface itself is made for performance. Like this, you look at this, it's also made for performance. It's made to be able to trigger, move between stuff really rapidly. This also, it's made to be able to change rapidly the values because everything is in front of you. But if you want to change the sequencer, well, the sequencer is not for performance use. You need to prepare it before and play back after. So it's all a question of how you want to do things and where you want that instrument to fit within the other instruments you have. It goes back again to the question of, do you have an arpeggiator? Is it easy to change the values of it? Do you have a sequencer? Is it easy to enter the notes and in real time perform it if that's what you want to do? Do you have motion sequence? Can you record the motion of your knobs in real time? So that's also something you can find. And last thing, is it backlit? Can you work under low light environment for live performance? A lot of people don't like the green Roland era devices. Like I have the TR8 and people don't like the green. I heard a lot of people saying, well, it's green, I don't like it. I would like to have red or whatever color I want, blue, whatever. I don't care about the color in this case. I care about if I turn the light off, I see every knob and value. It is perfect to work in a club environment, low light environment, because if you see all the knobs, same thing with this thing, everything is lit. Like this, well, these will be lit, but nothing here will be lit. So if you want to change something, you better remember where it is, because you don't see it, How can you control these instruments in low light? Could be important for you, depending on what you do. So keep that in mind also. So these are basically the question I ask myself about what I want out of a device before I actually buy it. And what I try to do is not to just add up to my studio, because I find that easily I get to buy, I used to do that. I used to buy a lot of gear and not make a lot of music. Now I try to bring it down. I've got two pieces in my studio right now that in my head I want to get rid of. and replace it with something else. That's the goal. I get rid of them and buy something else instead. So I move stuff around, and the new stuff will inspire me to do other things, and that's the goal, you know. So that's it. I hope this actually helps you pick the best synthesizer for your needs. Feel free to ask me a question in the comments. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook. The link is somewhere below. See you soon. Cheers.